Hi guys, Alexi here with another Marketing Evolution podcast webinar style format of series that we're recording with some of the leading experts that we know. Today I've got Scott Mackenroth from Click Media Solutions with us. Hey Scott.
G'day Lexi, how's it going?
Yeah, good mate. Heaps to talk about today. I guess the whole thing is a bit of a roller coaster at the moment. And mate, before we jump into all that sort of side of things, why don't we talk about your business and tell the audience what you do, what you specialize in, and what your business is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So primarily our business is all about social media marketing and quite specifically more social media advertising. So we started about 8 years ago now and quickly sort of found ourselves a niche within the Australian automotive industry, working a lot with car dealerships. So we really sort of focused the business towards that. But then we always had a few clients outside of that arm of the business where we were doing normal sort of social media marketing for social media advertising. And that was really good to broaden the skill set from the entire team outside the automotive industry to learn new things and then bring that back to the automotive industry. I guess over the years, we've gotten better and better, and we're now one of the authorized Facebook marketing partners for the Australian automotive industry. So yeah, we work directly with the team down in Sydney and Melbourne at Facebook. Great support from those guys. And yeah, it's been a really fun journey so far. Social media is constantly changing daily, and even more so since I suppose the COVID outbreak. We're seeing huge increases in the amount of people using social media and adapting how we're doing advertising. So I've enjoyed it. It's been a fun ride, social media. Unlike other agencies like yourself, where you're in the Google and web, we've always just really concentrated on being great at social media advertising. Yeah. The interesting situation we're in now is the automotive industry has taken a pretty big hit last month, this month, and for the foreseeable future. In weaker economic times, people are much less likely to want to spend money on things such as cars, which are sometimes seen as a luxury expense. So like every business at the moment, we're actually starting to adapt and pivot what we're doing in the auto industry, but more importantly, outside of the automotive industry as well. Okay. So I guess we're going to talk about that today, and also the businesses we're working with, how they're adapting and pivoting as well.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure you've got a ton of stuff to share, but why don't we just take a quick step back? I mean, social media marketing, that's such a big topic right there. There's advertising, there's management, there's positioning, branding, all that sort of stuff. What specific problems are you helping your clients solve? I mean, you've spoken about automotive industries, and I'm sure you've got online stores and other types of businesses as well. So what specifically are you helping these businesses with right now?
Yeah, so we do like to distinguish the difference between social media pages, which we sort of say social media management, and then social media advertising. I think any agency needs to develop their skill sets on one side and the other side. They're not often just merged together and looked at as the one thing, but they definitely complement each other very in-depthly. So our social media page management aspect is really about working with a business and trying to bring out who they are. Apologies. I'll put that on silent. Trying to work out, what is their niche, what message do they want to get to market, who they are, and what's their personality, and how they can create a true connection with the consumer. How do they build up that trust, and get people to know them so that they're the people that, they obviously, you want to choose to do business with them. If you give value, you give education, and you show who you are, eventually they'll want to do business with you. And, that's the skill set around page management. And on the advertising side, we're much more looking at a full funnel marketing strategy. How do we bring users into the marketing funnel? How do we keep them in that marketing funnel with further advertising messages that, again, educate and provide value? And then how do we convert people into leads, online sales, purchases, whatever it might be? But those two things seem very separate, but once you start doing them well together, it's very easy to see how your advertising message gets seen, and then they see the stuff on your page, which builds up that social proof and provides that trust. So when we then send them more marketing messages on the advertising side of things, we're getting a better cut-through rate. So yeah, absolutely. That social media marketing is both the pages and advertising, but I think you need a very unique strategy for each one. And when done right, they'll then start complementing each other really well.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a huge point right there, because a lot of businesses really struggle to understand exactly what's involved in social media marketing, and then oftentimes I see the marketing managers are being asked to manage the page, and ultimately there's no strategy behind the scenes. And I
Yeah.
guess the whole idea of putting up content for the sake of engagement with all the fun stuff just doesn't convert into leads. So there's a huge gap between engagement or branding and positioning and the actual results and conversions. So, mate, absolutely, yeah, you're spot on.
Yeah, and we'll speak to people who may have said, "Oh, I put $100 boost on a post and I didn't get any sales," and we're like, "Well, of course you didn't. You know, boosting a post is not social media advertising. That's just really brand awareness and engagement. Even if you were promoting a sale thing, it's really not going to cut it in the long run, and you need an actual advertising strategy." So yeah, it's good to try and distinguish between the two as any business owner and figure out what the strategy is for each. So
Yeah. Well, look, I guess with this whole coronavirus situation, a lot of businesses are changing. I'm sure your business is changing, and the industries you're changing with as well. I believe you've got a bit of a presentation that you've put together just to make this easier, because all this stuff we can talk about, but I think a lot of the people that are watching this might be very visual as well. So, is there a presentation you want to potentially share?
Yeah, absolutely. If I can share my screen, we can go through a few of the points.
Yeah. Let's give that a crack, because I think it's such a important and a big subject, and last thing I want to do is mislead people. So your screen's up.
Easy. This is going to be a mix between some of the messages that we're personally putting out as a business, and then also some of the things we're doing with our clients. So if we just sort of dive into it here, this is a big thing we're pushing to everyone is, marketing during COVID-19. It's absolutely not the time to freeze up and be paralyzed by what's going on out there. You need to really sort of grab a hold of it, take action, and look for the opportunities that are out there. You do need to get creative and start strategizing about how to improve your business now, but also how it's going to be improved into the future when conditions improve as well. Social media is huge right now. I said there's about a 40% growth on the Facebook family of apps,
Wow.
but also the cost to advertise on Facebook is getting cheaper and cheaper. A lot of big advertisers have started to pull back. So when there's less competition to reach those audiences, we're starting to see the CPMs decrease. Then the cost per click is getting cheaper, the cost per leads are getting cheaper, and the cost per sales are getting cheaper. So it's definitely what we're saying is it is time to act, but act strategically, find the opportunities, and start to reap the benefits. And this is all well and good to say, but I guess there's a lot of businesses out there that are going, well, I've just shut up shop and this has happened and that has happened. I mean, there still is opportunity out there. And I guess the more you take a step back and just analyze things from a more strategic point of view, you can start to find out, what can I do and what actions can I take? So we sort of say step one for a lot of people is just keep your audience informed. An example is I wanted to go to my chiropractor that I see the other day, and my partner, who's very COVID aware, said, well, what precautions are they taking? Are they still open and so forth? And I went to their website, there was no information. I went to their Facebook and there was no information. So I don't even know if I can engage with this business in the current climate. So a big thing we're saying is keep your audience informed. Update your website, let people know about what's going on, what different steps are you taking. Do a Facebook post, pin it to the top of your wall, just let people know. Now, again, things are changing quite rapidly. So if you need to update that information, you can easily update your website and you can easily update that Facebook post.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. Just on that alone, we obviously work with quite a few allied health businesses, and what we found over the last few weeks is that a lot of them were missing out on appointments because people just weren't turning up, and exactly for that reason. There was no information on their website or Facebook saying what they're doing in order to take the precautions. And look, allied health businesses, physios, and the chiropractors are considered essential services. So they're still operational, but there is obviously strict criteria as to how they operate. So that's a very good point, mate.
Yeah. And I think the other one now, social media is our primary sort of area we concentrate on, but, send out an email to your clients and let them know what's going on. I am rather sick of every company that I've ever done business with sending me an email at the moment. So try and be unique in what you're saying, not just, hey, we care about you, but hi, I just want to let you know we're open. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing differently. And this is how we're going to take care of things. The people on your current database are the ones that are most likely to still engage with you in this environment. So, keep them informed. And SMS marketing, another great way to touch base with people during these times as well. So however you want to do it and whatever's appropriate for your business, but just let your audience know that you're still open to business is a big one for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, in my opinion, the short emails are better. They're going to get read. They're going to get responded to. Getting 3-page long emails from a lot of people saying exactly the same thing isn't really cool. Especially that every single person's trying to do them. So yeah, mate, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. I suppose the next thing, more relating to the social media side of things, is show people what you're actually doing as well. So a couple of examples here are the online computer store, who also has a retail front that we work with. They're not allowing people into their store, but they are allowing people to order online and come in to click and collect. So, do a post, show people where they need to go to pick it up, show the marks on the ground where you have to line up in order to get your product. It's showing people that you're being engaging, it's showing off your business, and it's being informative. The next example there was a car dealership we work with, and they've got the guys going around doing cleaning on a regular basis. Like, they sanitize after every appointment, after every test drive, after everything. So they're recording videos just to let people know that's happening. Again, it's connecting with your audience, it's engaging with your audience, but it's showing them what's going on. And I suppose in our situation, we had a Zoom call this morning, and if we're doing business with anyone at the moment, we can't do face-to-face meetings. We have a lot of clients all over Australia, so everything we're doing is on Zoom. So, we're telling people about that. Hey, let's engage, but let's do it through Zoom. It's, we can do the same thing. So yeah, just keep them informed, and more importantly, show them through your social media exactly what's happening.
That's awesome, man. And that's a really good point about the click and collect. I got a study from Google this morning that apparently over the last week, the click and collect type of orders increased by 50%. So anyone promoting that has really got the upper hand on the whole idea, because it's all about people being able to collect the item today. So it's just about not having to wait for the delivery to come. But mate, that's a huge point right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't tell your audience it's available, well, they might choose to do business with someone who is telling them it's available. So yeah, tell them through social media, tell them through whatever means it might be. So yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, the next one we're sort of moving into is the advertising side of things. So again, not talking about just what you're posting on your page, but more about advertising properly on social media. A lot of times we're given the analogy at the moment to people that it's a bit like a car race. So, we're heading towards a bend, and everyone's sort of there. And if you pump the brakes too early, well, your competitors are going to fly past you. And when you're reaching the apex of that corner and you're starting to head out, if you accelerate too late, your competitors again are going to go past you. So think strategically about what you're doing. And what we're saying is review all of the current campaigns you have going. If there's campaigns right now that are just not performing, get rid of them. It's not time to waste money on things that aren't working. So review everything, kill off everything that's not working, and look at the ones that are working. Because if you have campaigns that are working, it's important to double down on them right now. You might have seen the cost per lead get cheaper, the cost per clicks get cheaper. And if these are returning value, increase the spend on those immediately. So yeah, that's a big one there. The other thing is to look for new opportunities within your current business model. So what does your audience need most right now? What are their concerns, and how are you helping to solve that? Now, I know a lot of times you might already do that in your business, but the consumer's needs have changed during this time, and their need for your business has potentially changed. So just have a think about your marketing message, and don't exacerbate the fear, but lean into the current situation. Don't seem too opportunistic, but if you genuinely have something that can help someone, whatever industry or niche or whatever they might be in, let them know about it. So that's a big thing as well.
Yeah. Well, let me just quickly recap that. I mean, you said in the previous slide that some of the bigger competitors just pretty much pause their marketing, which results in a cheaper cost per click and a cost per lead altogether. The market at the same time didn't go anywhere. There's still a bunch of people looking for stuff and basically interested in purchasing stuff. It's just a matter of timing. So really, I guess if you are putting the brakes on your marketing campaigns, then you're completely off the advertising radar altogether, and people can't find you. Which gives your competitors a huge advantage in order to be able to jump onto all this advertising opportunity. And if you look into the whole sales pipeline, it's all really about initially getting that inquiry and then turning into a sales opportunity, which is typically a consultation or a phone call or a face-to-face, and then from there it's actually a sale. So if you look at it from that perspective, the first two steps are still taking place. And I guess people who are still advertising right now have really got the opportunity in the long run. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, again, every business is different, and we understand there's some people out there that are doing it pretty tough. So, I mean, this sort of brings me on to the next thing here, where I look at a few different scenarios. So right now, if your industry is not able to acquire business or make sales, and I'm looking at, say, like the tourism industry, obviously, they're suffering quite a lot. There's opportunity out there to start building a list, start building your brand awareness, and nurture your relationships with your current audience. You know, if you can't solve the situation, if there's no way to make a sale, there's still things you can do to be active in the marketing. So pause every other campaign you have going and start focusing on some of these things. I spoke to an Airbnb rental client the other day. They have 10 Airbnb properties across Australia, and they've of course lost every single booking that they've had for the next 6-month period. And he was in a frantic mess, sort of saying, well, I've got to pay the loans on all these properties. There's no way I can actually get any business. What do I do? And, you know, I had to say to him, look, right now, we're not going to be able to solve that situation completely, but it'd be a great idea to start building a list. So, you know, start marketing, you know, all of your properties and get people on your database so that when the situation does improve, there's a whole lot of people there that you can get going with and get booking into the properties. I suppose he's very reliant right now on Airbnb, which take a huge cut. So if he can potentially market now to build his own list, in the future, he's going to have a much higher profitable business doing the same thing. And we work with another client who markets or helps tourism agencies market. And again, right now, there's not a lot of tourism businesses that want to do marketing. So he's sort of promoting, hey, here's a guide to promote how to market during COVID-19. So he's building a list of people that he can potentially work with again when the situation does improve. And I guess that sort of is the same principle we're taking with our business right now as well. So for the automotive industry, we developed quite a big guide, sort of how to market during COVID-19 for the car industry, where we went through some of the things we've already talked about here. So keeping your audience informed, here's some advertising ideas that you should be looking at, here's what you should be posting on your page, and just little tips for them there. So that's been really good. We've been using that as both an item to send out to our current clients to sort of nurture those relationships and help them. But we're also using this as a lead gen strategy to bring in new clients as well. The other thing we've been developing is a dealership assistance package. So what we're doing is offering our services for free across the board to anyone we haven't worked with before. So we're saying, look, we're here to help. We're offering all of these services to you, completely complimentary at a value of $1,190. You don't need to sign up with us. There's no ongoing contracts, but if you need assistance, we can help you. So we're letting them know, hey, we can do a dealership update for you for your website and your social media. We can give you a social media posting pack where we talk about contactless car buying, virtual appointments, trading hour updates, or any service promotions you might have going on. And then letting them know we can do an email out to your database and an SMS for you. And just providing that completely for free, which hopefully these potential people will really appreciate. And then we can market to them later on when conditions improve and try and bring them into our, paid services.
I think that's really good. I mean, you've got the framework in order to deliver the results, and ultimately you are helping the businesses that really need help in the current situation and creating opportunities for them. I think that's a really clever and a fair model. So, mate, absolutely. But just to take a step back, I guess the whole idea of this current situation for the tourist industry or the hospitality industry, I think it's really all about just going back to basics, because the value of any business is really in the list. So if you're building a list, that's really the future of your sales pipeline, and ultimately nurturing that list and moving down with the communication of that list is really the key to building a future business. Yeah, that's a really good point.
And I had a little point there as well, which is your content plus your community equals your currency. So right now we're saying build your community as much as possible. And that could be followers on your social media accounts. It could be email addresses, but also a lot of stuff you do on Facebook, you can retarget people on as well. So not just people who have been to your website who you can obviously retarget to, that's easy. But, if people engage with any of your posts on Facebook and Instagram, you can remarket to them later on as well. If people watch any of your videos for 10%, 20%, 50%, you can also remarket to those people. So if you're producing some really good videos and you advertise those videos, you could have 5,000 or 10,000 people that you could potentially send a message to later on as well. So it doesn't always have to be an email. There's lots of opportunities to build the community that then you can act on later on. And whether that's in 2 weeks' time or 6 months' time. But yeah, start building that up. Okay. The next one we're sort of looking at is looking at your current business that you have and figuring out if there's a business within a business or potentially a different way to market your business, maybe to a new audience or a new service. So there's a snack box company that I was speaking to the other day. They've been selling a lot of things directly to businesses, sort of business snacks for the employees. Now that businesses are sort of closed down and they're not able to deliver, everyone's cancelled their contracts. So they've pivoted very quickly to doing like at-home quarantine snack packs for the family and delivering directly to the consumer instead of to the business. So essentially the same business they always had, just to a new audience. A friend of mine who owns a beard grooming company has repurposed his manufacturing facility to now do hand sanitizer. So he's actually worked with the Queensland government, got a supply of ethanol, using his production facility to sort of build up this antiseptic stuff and supply to all the hospitals around Queensland as well. So that's going really well for him. And then inside the car dealership, guys, we work with, service is still part of the business that's going really well. So we're sort of doing a lot of campaigns. A lot of people don't know there might be a recall on their current model. So whilst they're sitting at home and they've got some time on their hands, promoting, hey, is your vehicle up for recall? Check with us now. We do a check on that, and then they can send someone out, pick up your car, bring it to the dealership, do the repair, and then drop it back to you again without having to leave. So again, with all these ones, essentially the same service they were always had, but just pivoting slightly to fit the current market.
Yeah, well, I guess every business has got the 80-20 in terms of the service breakdown, where the cash flow is and I guess where the sales are and everything. And yeah, the car industry isn't just about sales. It's not about, just looking at the new cars. It's all about service and I guess, customer care. Yeah, okay, cool.
Absolutely. And the other one I sort of wanted to touch on is, we spoke about it before, but is doubling down on things that are currently working. So if we look at this one here, there's a crumpet company we were doing some work with. So they've turned around and produced a bunny crumpet for Easter with some cultured butter, just a little pack, quite cheap. It was only $20 per one. But in the last 4 or 5 days, there's been about $25,000 worth of sales come off a campaign that we only spent around $200 on. So, it's a product they already had, but they've really just increased the ad spend and they're really pushing it out there, and that's going amazingly well for them. There's another company that we work with who has sort of whole food bars. So again, they've always been promoting them, but now we're sort of saying, hey, stock the pantry with these delicious whole food bars. Just some people have been obviously panic buying and buying a lot of rubbish and stocking the house with things that aren't that healthy. So it's just leaning into the situation and that's going really well for them. And then again, that IT store that we were working with as well, their sales have grown quite dramatically with everyone working from home over the last few months. And again, they've sort of doubled down and spending more to sort of capitalize on that opportunity as well.
Cool. That's really good, mate. That's some real practical examples right there.
Yeah, and I suppose that was everything I wanted to go over. Recap wise, again, just keep your audience informed, change your marketing message, cut through the clutter and just sort of tell everyone what's happening. Adapt your business, deliver your service in a new way, work on brand awareness, nurture those customer relationships. If you can pivot your business or create a business within a business, do that. And for the things that are working for you, double down on those during the current climate to increase your business now, but also, continue to increase it in the future. Yeah,
I think the whole, niche within a niche or business within a business, as you said, is a really powerful concept, especially if you understand your target market, because, when you're real specific on a specific niche, you can become a number one provider of that specific service online. The ability to market that, the ability to do SEO and other things it becomes a lot simpler because it's a lot more defined. Mate, that's awesome. That's a really cool presentation, and really, you've put it together quite well. What are the sort of businesses that are currently trending at the moment? I mean, you obviously work with quite a diverse portfolio of customers. You've, mentioned an online store and a couple other ones. Well, what else is currently trending right now?
Well, e-com is the biggest thing that is trending right now. If you have an e-com store, it is going crazy. So, I mean, it's not just products that are in high demand. It's people don't want to leave the house. So if they can buy your product or service online, we're seeing a huge boost in results on those things. The ROI on campaigns is just getting better and better. The other thing we're seeing is people really want to support local businesses right now. They really want to support small businesses. So anyone who sells things online and can promote the fact they're local is also doing really, really well. So yeah, e-com for sure. If you can concentrate on that, that's good. I think it was like lawyers and stuff you mentioned to me were going quite well. You guys have been sort of getting a lot more stuff from there. We're seeing a lot of IT managed service providers as well, starting to get a lot more business. With everyone working from home and a lot more increased network activity going on, there's a lot more potential for cyber attacks and stuff. So sort of in the network IT security side, as well as then IT infrastructure sort of things from people working from home.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, they're the main sort of areas.
Cool. Well, look, I guess the online, presence for e-commerce is really the key. If someone can buy from your website and pay online and get something delivered, that would be really good. And I think it's a generational thing as well. A lot of people, create a page where they say, make an inquiry or call us and get an order that way, which is good, works very well for the mature audience. But I guess if you're looking at millennials and stuff, they much prefer to look at something, click buy now button, pull out a credit card and buy it online, have it delivered. So it's interesting how the different generations respond to the whole thing. You're obviously noticing that through social media as well, right?
Yeah, and I think, a big thing is, if your business isn't online right now, that's a glaring problem. It should have been an issue for you a little while ago, but right now, no one's doing business with anyone that doesn't have a presence online and can ship to their door or provide the service remotely. So, I sort of said e-com is an industry that's taking off, but e-com sort of covers everything at the moment. I need to be able to deliver my service online. You need to be able to deliver your service fully online. The same as, the person selling physical products or IT products or whatever it might be. But you need to have a way that seamlessly and frictionlessly people can engage with your business online. Yeah. There's some businesses we work with that are having a huge influx of traffic and they're having a huge influx in phone calls, but they've never had that before. So now we're having to set up online chat facilities to help their staff sort of mitigate the phone lines to try and bring give the call center a bit of a relief so they can deal with the messages online. So yeah, it's really, I suppose, if your business has slowed down a bit, now is the time to sort of figure out, all right, what haven't I done in my digital sort of marketing strategy? Is my website up to scratch? Is the way I'm promoting my services up to scratch? How are we advertising? How are we delivering? And really make sure your digital footprint is active. And if you can get it happening right now and capitalize on the current situation, great. But if not, use the time now to sort of plan it so that, in 2, 3, 4 months time, you have a fully online business that can continue to operate. Yeah.
Well, look, I guess working with you on a couple of campaigns, I can see that social media provides a huge return on ad spend. So it's a really fair model. You spend a couple of dollars to generate quite a substantial revenue, and I guess you've got a specific target market that you can consistently reach and make new sale opportunities and stuff. That's really, really good. I guess from my perspective, anything that's professional services related just requires taking the overall sales process into a format like this, for example, using Zoom in this particular case. Because if the inquiry comes through, a lot of people want to get advice from you, and they don't necessarily need to meet. And there's heaps of advantages that people don't have to travel. People don't have to wait. They can do things pretty much straight away. And I guess what you said before about the influx on call centers and stuff, a lot of businesses just don't have the system in order to be able to scale parts of their process. So they get really overloaded quite quickly. So using scalable systems that allow them to, book people or schedule certain things is really the key. Mate, I think you've covered a whole bunch of different topics that, I wanted to go over, and you've gone far beyond that. We've got obviously a bunch of clients and a lot of followers who potentially would want to work with someone like yourself. What would be the process in order to approach you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can contact myself directly. My email is scott@clickmediasolutions.com.au. I'd love to have a chat. We are doing free sort of social media audits at the moment to look at your advertising strategies. So happy to tee up a time to chat with anyone and go over things. My mobile number is also 0488 661 662. So if anyone wants to have a chat, absolutely give us a call. But I guess, we've worked together really successfully in the past. The Google side of the business for us is an area we don't really touch, and we call that all the intent-based traffic. And we're really the awareness guys on social media. And, I think a good digital strategy always needs that intent, and it needs the awareness, and then it needs all the remarketing that both those channels can provide. So, I think I don't want to, there's a lot of people struggling at the moment going, I need social media to solve my business problems immediately, and we need this and we need that. Again, plan your digital landscape and everything that's going on. And if you need help on social, I'd love to have a chat. And yeah, but the combining of the intent and awareness and a proper marketing strategy is always really important. So yeah, I always encourage people, please speak with Alexi and his team, because they do a fantastic job at looking at the full picture and the full funnel of that strategy as well.
Cool. Well, yeah, man, I guess you're absolutely right. It's two parts of the actual sales funnel, and just choosing one or the other sometimes is really not an option. It's about understanding the bigger picture to the whole thing and seeing what you can achieve. In my experience, we find that the cost per conversion drops substantially when there is a social media campaign qualifying traffic beforehand. Because really the idea is, as you said, it's a know, like, and trust. It's about educating the customer about what the business does, who they are, what they do, and then from there, once people sort of enter that intent phase, is really to be able to come up with a nice offer and be able to get that inquiry. So it's a bit of science, but I guess you and I do it a lot, and I'm sure there's a lot of listeners to this video who'd like to have a chat and learn more about this stuff. So yeah, mate, really appreciate your time on this busy afternoon, and yeah, look forward to working with you in the future.
Excellent. Thank you, Alexi. And yeah, thank you to anyone watching. I hope there was some value that was provided. Good luck. Yeah. See you soon.